Well, after having a stellar career in college, playing at Illinois State, going to JUCO for a year, being an All-American there, having a great career at Oklahoma, University, had pro opportunities. Um, One of the big things that I want to ask you about is we have a big debate going on within the website about the best players that ever come through East Chicago. Because you played at Roosevelt, I want to get your starting five at Roosevelt, and this is players that you actually seen play. Of course, we can mention the Jim Bradleys, different guys like that, because he's one of the legendary guys. But I want to get from you your starting five of the best players you've seen at Roosevelt in your era, and if you have, give me knowledge on the starting five at East Chicago Central as well. So let's go with point guard for Roosevelt.
I would have to say for Roosevelt, point guard. Ooh, that'd be a hard one. In my era, I would have to say Terry Artis. Terry Artis was hard nosed.
Okay.
He wasn't a great athlete. He wasn't a great scorer, but he was hard nosed. He knew the game. He played a point guard role. So I would have to say, as far as point guard, would be Terry Artis. And Terry Artis was 2 years ahead of me.
Gotcha.
He was 2 years ahead of me, so I would have to use him as far as point guard. Then I would have to, for center, I would have to name Anthony Jones.
He's a center?
As a center.
Okay.
And we call him Jux.
Yeah.
Great athlete. About 6'4", 6'5", man. This guy would jump out the gym. Great athlete. He was really good, but his era was, I don't know if you remember, Ronaldo Thomas.
Yes.
Played for Gary Roosevelt at that time.
Yeah.
Man. Back then, man, we used to go at it. You talking about some guys that were dunking on one another, man. So I would have to say, as far as center, would be Anthony Jones.
Power forward.
Power forward, I would have to say Richard Randolph. About 6'3", man, the guy was strong, solid. 6'3", wasn't a great scorer, but he would get you 15, 16 rebounds a game. He gonna take up space. 15, 16 rebounds a game. He was a year ahead of me. And then I would say myself, which was swing forward. I was shooting forward. I would say 3. The second guard, I would have to say probably Shep Snead. Small guy, but had.
So you're saying that he's better than Tony Harris? How about at point guard position, Harry Irvin?
Harry, forgot about Harry Irvin.
Heard his name mentioned a lot of times.
Harry Irvin was he was a good player too. Harry was I guess I would have to say he was an all-around player.
Okay.
Point guard. This guy had skills too, man. I mean, you talking about another person that could shoot the ball. Had the funniest shot in the world, man. But for some reason, man, he would hit it. I don't know how, but he would hit it. Forgot about Tony Harris. I would have to use him and Tony could actually play. Tony was so good. He could actually play any position. I mean, whether it was, he was about my height, 6'3", whether it was forward, center, guard, point guard. I mean, this guy, he had the total package. He had the total package. And so, I could probably put Tony in that 2 guard position. I would say Terry Artis, point, Tony 2, myself 3, Richard Randolph 4, and Anthony Jones, Jux would be 5, man. That would be my starting 5.
Great starting 5.
Yeah, that'd be my starting 5 there, man. Compared to starting 5 for Central, who can I use? Maybe
point guard.
Point guard, I would say Eton is a point guard. The big kid from overseas, the center, the 6'11" guy. What was his name?
Angel Garcia?
Yeah, Garcia. I would say him as a center. I liked the big guy that played he played football, but he was a big guy.
Keywan Short.
Yeah, Keywan Short. Now I like this game, man. Now he reminded me of, and he was actually the key to them being successful. I mean, here's a big guy. When I would mention to you about the get out in the paint and didn't mind bumping heads, and he was that type of player, man. He'd get in there and bang, move some guys around, and he wasn't afraid to go up. So I would have to use him as a forward, and I would need 2 more players. So
small forward and shooting guard. Now
Pete was pretty good. Pete was a good guard.
Okay.
Antoine was a good guard.
Yeah.
And Jonesy was a good guard too.
Dwayne Jones
was a good guard. He was a good shooter too, man. So I could use those guys, man. You know what? I can't leave out Coop.
And now also Delmar Johnson.
Delmar was pretty good too. Got about Delmar, man. I can go on and on naming all those guys, man. So we might have to put 10 of them on the court opposed to 5 of us, man.
Okay.
But it was, again, The difference between when I was coming up and the guys now, I would say that the guys now may be more talented, as far as athletic wise. I mean, you have a lot of guys that's coming up now, man, that just has raw talent. Where we were coming up, we didn't have the talent that they have now, but we knew how to play together and win. We knew what it took to win. If we had to take 5 charges, we would take charges. It wasn't so much of looking good when you score. I wasn't a great athlete, during my time. I wasn't a great athlete at all, but I was a great scorer. I knew how to score. My strongest point was, 9 out of 10 times, if I shot it, it was going in. I mean, my thing was get me open, pick for me, leave me open. Give me the ball. I'm gonna put it in there. I don't care how far. And at that time, we didn't have a 3-point line, but I was shooting the ball beyond a 3-point line, man. So I would say that if we had to play those guys by us being old and gray now, and we really got in shape and decided to really go out there and play, we'll probably eventually end up losing.
But could your junior team, could your junior high school team, your team, beat the 2007 state champs?
Yes, we could.
Why is that?
Myself, along with Tony Harris, with the point guard, we was fundamentally sound. We wasn't great athletes. We were just fundamentally sound. We played the game by fundamentals, and as you know today, most great players are normally fundamental players. The game is won and built on fundamentals. Having great talent, being great athletes kind of help, but it's a thinking game. Where most guys nowadays think that is built on offense. We come up, it's built on winning, it's built on defense. We stop the other team, we win. So I would say that we used fundamentals when we were playing. I would have to say Ike too. I actually forgot about Ike was a great player too, but Ike was he was a couple years behind me. Even in their era, man. Those guys were real good. Ike also had a promising career too.
How about Judah Parks?
Judah Parks was great. Yeah, Judah Parks kind of reminded me of myself. Judah was a good shooter too. He was a good shooter. You can name a lot of greats, man. But there was a lot of good players that came out, but just didn't go to the
major schools.
The major schools, yeah. They didn't go to the major schools. I would say I probably was the last one to end up going to a major school outside of Eton Moore now. Going to the University of Oklahoma. He's at Purdue. Both of those schools are major schools, and that's probably what most people remember me from my career at Oklahoma. Most people don't even remember. They don't even know I played for Oklahoma. They just remember me in the Final Four. They remember me playing, in the Final Four. So a lot of great athletes, man. You have to have that. You have to have that total package. You have to have the attitude. You have to have the respect. I would say you have to have a total package in order to get to that level. It's just more than just talent, and there's more to being good, because you got to remember that when you go into these universities, you're not only representing yourself, but you represent the university too. So, you have to have a total package in order to get to these schools nowadays. And again, we've had a lot of great athletes, come out of, East Chicago, but not a lot of them has went to major colleges.
What, you being one of the only few athletes to go off to school, play 4 years of college basketball, have great success. I want to ask you your opinion on why you think so many athletes from East Chicago, in all sports, don't complete the process of playing high school ball and going off to school, getting a degree. It's not necessarily about going pro, it's just about leaving here and going to see a better life in college and different things. Can you explain why we have so many failures?
Sum it up as a whole, I would have to say support group. When I was playing, we had a support group. We had one of the greats as a head coach, Coach John Todd. May he continue to rest in peace. But he was the coach that would stand by us as a father. It wasn't, we just wasn't his basketball players. He made sure that we did what we needed to do to be successful. You know, again, the athletes today don't have the support group that we did when we were coming up. You know, we were more unified, I would say. You know, even just the team players. You know, we were more unified. It seemed to me that today's athletes, even though they may be better athletic wise, I don't think they have the support group. I think it's important that, you know, people like myself and you that's been athletes, you know, kind of build a support group for the athletes nowadays to kind of encourage them. You know, you also got to have that, you know, that strong foundation, family support, and it most definitely have to be something that you desire. You know, you have to want to do it. You know, because nothing is going to come to you. I mean, you have to want to do it. And I just had a lot of people that encouraged me. You know, I had a lot of people that encouraged me. You know, again, my sister, you know, she went off to college. You know, she encouraged me. And I had a great college career. I mean, I couldn't ask any better. My college career was great. I think nowadays, you know, we have to build that support group for the local athletes in order to encourage them. Because we got great athletes coming out. I mean, you know, if you compare the athletes now and when we were coming up, man, these guys are like a level way above than where we are. But they, you know, they come out of high school and take, for example, Udi, great player, awesome player. Right now, should be in the NBA, man. You know, no question. But just don't have that support group, and also family plays a big part too. You know, I'm old school, man, and when we was raised, you know, we had both parents at home. You know, that made a big difference too. You know, I had both parents in the house with me. You know, so you know, I didn't have to live that hard life. You know, that rough life. You know, where nowadays, you know, you have athletes. You know, maybe their parents are not with them, or maybe they stand with friends. You know, just life. You know, it's a little. You know, it's different now. It's a little harder for, you know, the student athlete today than it was when we were coming up, man. You know, again, you know, we were raised that, you know, it might have been 10 of us sleeping in one bed, you know, but we had, you know, we were family. We were family based, and you know, I think that played a big part in me going off to college and you know, having a successful career. So I was to sum it up, I would say that, you know, the support group. You most definitely got to have a support group, whether it comes from outside of the family or the neighborhood. You know, we have to have that support group.
All right. Real quick, are you the best player to ever come through East Chicago Roosevelt?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say I was the best player, but I would say that I was.
Where do you rank?
Where I rank myself?
All time.
All time. Are we going back to Jim Bradley days, or are we going back?
All time.
Going back to Jim Bradley?
Because you know what, you're the best in your era, and I have got that from your peers. So I'm talking about all time.
All time. I don't know. I would rank myself in the top 10 probably. I would say top 10. I wouldn't say 5. I would rank myself in the top 10. Again, I had a decent career, you know, so I would say top 10.
Are you better than Etwan Moore or the Udi Baker?
I would say Etwan Moore and Udi Baker were better athletes. I was a better scorer. Yeah, I was a better scorer. I was a better scorer.
What kind of advice can you give to athletes who may one day be in your position?
Strive for what you believe in. If it's something you love, go for it. Don't quit. Don't let anybody take you away from it. If it's something that you want to do, if it's something that you desire to do, I would say give it your all. You know, first, you know, keep God first, give it your all, and apply yourself. Apply yourself to what you love. And if you apply yourself to what you love, then can't nothing but good come out.
What is Arthur Pollard currently doing right now?
Right now, I'm doing quite well. I own my own construction company. Married now. I've been married 14 years. Family-oriented guy. And right now I'm doing real well with the construction business. It's been real lucrative for me. So, but it's construction basically.
Mr. Arthur, I want to thank you for being on the Athletes Lives Network. It's been a pleasure doing this interview with you. I would love to one day get a round table of all the great athletes, yourself, you know, many athletes together, do a round table talk.
Nice. That would be nice. That would be nice. Oh yeah, I would love that. We debate on who was the best.
Yes.
I think I'll come out as far as being the best shooter. I wouldn't nobody compare with as far as the shooting is concerned. That if we had a shooting record, I would hold that record. I would hold that title.
Hands down. So, sir, I want to thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
This Athletes Lives Network, once an athlete, always athlete.